Good morning, everybody. This is once again your teacher Maida Clark. Our lesson this morning will be focusing more on the digital citizenship. Question is, how do we find balance in our digital lives? So, this morning, our lesson will be focusing on the rings of responsibility. Now, let us have first our objective for our lesson of the day. How do good digital citizenship take responsibility for themselves, their communities, and their world? Learning objectives of this morning examine both online and in person responsibilities, describe the rings of responsibility as a way to think about how our behavior affects ourselves and others. Number three, identify examples of online responsibilities to others. So, responsibility defined as a duty you have to yourself and to others or others. So, let us watch closely as we will learn about the rings of responsibility and being um, responsible in using online.
Imagine if you threw an empty plastic bottle on your bedroom floor. Now, what if it's a bunch of bottles and they spill into the street and eventually end up in the ocean? Your action would have a ripple effect. It would affect you, your community, and even the world. And just like what we do in person, what we do online has a huge impact. What we say online, what we share online, and what we create online doesn't just affect our lives, but the lives of our families, friends, community, and people all around the world. That's why it's so important to think before we act. Use the rings of responsibility as your guide. Always be responsible to yourself, to your community, and to your world.
All right, so that is all about being responsible in what we're doing online. So we have to think before we act, and we always think before we're gonna click. So moving on, the rings of responsibility ask the questions. So these are the questions. What responsibilities do you have for yourself? And what responsibilities do you have for your community? And what responsibilities do you have for your world? So as digital citizen, these are referred to someone who uses technology responsibly to learn, create, and participate. So, as our exit ticket, you have to pick one example from your My Rings of Responsibility handout and write an explanation of why it belongs in the rings that you choose for it. Again, we find balance in our digital lives by being responsible kid. Good morning.